Let's rewind to 2007, a time when indie rock kids and electro misfits rubbed shoulders at the same sweaty house parties, unsure of what the future of music would sound like. Enters Justice, debut album Cross. An electrified neon crucifix dropped onto the dance floor, obliterating genre walls and rewriting the gospel of electronic music forever. Before Cross, the EDM tag as we know it wasn't plastered on every festival flyer or top 40 charts. In fact, dance music was still something of an underground curiosity to mainstream America, reserved for warehouses, European clubs, and the MySpace pages of those cool older cousins. But Justice changed that. They made electronic music dangerous again. It was dirty, crunchy, loud, and weird, like Daft Punk's younger, drunker brother who'd stolen guitar amps and every distortion pedal from the rock band's practice space. The opener Genesis doesn't so much start as it summons, like a booming arrival of a digital deity cracking its knuckles before laying waste to the world. It's cinematic, prophetic, and it warns you are not prepared for this ride. From there, Cross hurls you through a buzzing bangers like, Dance, D-A-N-C-E, as kids choir disco tracks that sounds like Michael Jackson remixed by robots high on caffeine and glitter. And then Phantom, the grimy, funk-fueled monster that belongs equally in Paris catwalks and, Mad Max car chase. And every single time Phantom comes on, dude, I get goosebumps every time. As a diehard Dario Argento fan, I can't help but grin. The song lifts a sly, shadowy sample straight from Goblin's theme to Tenebrae, one of Argento's finest giallo horror masterpieces. It's like Justice reached into the dusty VHS shelves of my brain, grabbed that eerie synth line, and blasted it through a wall of distorted French electro. That touch alone makes Phantom feel like, feels less like a club track and more like a soundtrack to like a haunted disco crime scene, sleazy, stylish, and soaked in cinematic dread. What makes Cross so monumental is its unapologetic heaviness. These tracks don't whisper politely, they punch, they grind and stomp their way into your bones. Justice took the polite, French touch vibe, think early Daft Punk or Cassius, and stuffed it with steroids, gospel choirs, and fat blown out bass that made club speakers beg for mercy. It bridged the gap between indie kids, metalheads, and ravers, a rare unity before the DJ Bro era would eventually shatter it. And here's the real kicker. Cross cracked open the door for the global EDM explosions that would define the next decade. Without it, would Skrillex have melted faces? Would dubstep and frat houses? Would Deadmau5, Saviki, and Calvin Harris have even been in the top pop radio with such wide arms? Probably not this way, but Justice proved that you could rock the decks like a rock star, bringing leather jackets and Marshall Stack energy into a DJ booth. Their live sets, half rave, half stadium spectacles, showed the world that electronic music could feel like when blown up to biblical proportions. Even a factory worker like me, clocking in mind-numbingly shifts surrounded by machines, found a kind of catharsis in Cross. Its industrial crunch and metallic throb felt like a soundtrack to the grind of real life, transformed into something cool and transcendent. Wow, I can't talk, sorry. It made the mundane seem cinematic. It made work feel like part of a bigger, grimy dance. And nearly 2 decades later, Cross remains a holy relic, a blueprint for every EDM headliner and festival circuit hero that followed. It's filthy, it's sacred, it's fun, and most importantly, it changed everything. So if you haven't checked this album out, check it out. Let me know what you think.